she with you?
I thought she was with you.
I had a great idea, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to start a new weekly, if I could, show to take advantage of the fact that I watch, read, and play so many different things, and I wanted a forum with which to discuss them, and I felt that over the years I have been more than negative, and I wanted the opportunity to talk about some things a little more positively. And then Batman v Superman happened, and then that little dream just went right out the window. Not too long ago on my more frequently asked about series, I took a look at the trailer for this movie. Now, it's always been instilled in me to act with grace when you are right and others are wrong, so I don't want people to view this video as me saying I told you so, because I didn't want to be right. I wanted this movie, I wanted it to be great. Because I don't want to be irritated by movies. That's not what I'm about. I've got high cholesterol and bills to pay. I got real problems. I don't want to be spending my days being angry at movies. So now that he's had two movies, Zack Snyder... Zack Snyder. Oh boy, is he a piece of fucking work. Oh. Okay. He's had two movies now to completely screw around with the DC Universe as he sees fit. And as a result of this, I have concluded that he doesn't get it. I'm not even talking about the characters at this point. I mean, he's done his own interpretation of these characters, and that's perfectly fine. But that don't mean I gotta like it. It's just ridiculous listening to him snort his way through interviews, blaming the fans for not liking him and his doofus best friend's super grimdark Superman film. I mean, it just makes him come across like a giant douche canoe. Well, let's start with a very important question. Is it better or worse than Man of Steel? Well, considering that I might one day re-watch Batman v Superman to try and analyze it further, I would rather get liver failure than watch this again. So I guess, it's only slightly better. And I think that's because I knew going in. Because I had shit expectations for Batman vs. Superman. I went in expecting to hate it. I hated it. Disappointment was low. Man of Steel had some expectations going into it, and it was a solid steel-toed boot of reality to the taint. So what was good about this movie? Ben Affleck. I liked his portrayal of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. He's probably one of the better portrayals of the character in a long time, outside of the redundant, ridiculous, moronic script. That's neither here nor there. He was good. And that's about it. Now, when talking about what's wrong with this movie, I'll try and stick to the main points, because if I were to talk about every single thing that I found wrong with this movie, we would be here all night, and there is not enough liquor in the universe. So my first point, why? I think that's a good place to start. Why? Why does anybody in this movie do anything at all? Well, we can be thankful that full-time baboon and part-time director Zack Snyder has felt that motivations are for suckers, and he did not waste any time putting that crap into his Superman movie. Because you see, motivation and character development are what those fun-loving yuppies over at Marvel like to do in their competent movies. We've got no time for that here. Why do Batman and Superman start fighting? I don't know. Why does Lex Luthor hate Superman? I don't know. Why does he start fucking with Batman? I don't know. Why do Batman and Superman eventually stop fighting? And no, that's not a spoiler because they showed that happening in the trailer. Actually, there is a reason for that, and it is quite possibly one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life, and requires another shot of scotch to wash it down, and I'm already spilling. Oh, I've only had 2 shots, I'm already spilling. That's not good. And I'm also running low on scotch. Now, I'm gonna say this first before I take the shot, because I don't want to hack my way through this. The reason why Batman and Superman stop fighting in this film is because, not because they realize that the other is actually good, or that the two of them have a check and balance sort of dynamic that they appreciate the importance of. No. You see, those things would make sense, and Zack Snyder is not about making sense. You see, the reason why Batman and Superman stopped fighting is because both of their moms are named Martha. I'm gonna take the shot while you let that sink in. For the sake of example, let's say that you and I, you the viewer and I, are fighting each other. We hate each other's guts. And you, the viewer, are trying to keep me from my favorite hobby. My favorite hobby may be indiscriminate murder, but that's neither here nor there. You are trying to keep me from it, and I don't like you for that. So I want to fight you to the death. And I've got you right where I want you. I'm beating the shit out of you. And I've got you near death. And then you sputter out your final words. And you say the name of a relative of mine who happens to be deceased. Well, then it's explained to me by some off-screen schlub that the person's name you just happened to blurt out, that happens to be the name of a deceased relative of mine, is a living relative of yours that happens to be the same relation to you that mine was to me. What a fun little coincidence. Now, in reality land, where most of us live, I would continue to kill the shit out of you. I would not stop. Now, you might be saying, hold on a minute, Chris. This metaphor that you're bringing up here is oddly specific. In fact, that's exactly what happens in the movie. Yes, it is. And the reason why is because there's only one way that I could properly articulate how fucking stupid that is. Speaking of stupid, where's all those people who told me how wrong I was in the trailer where I said that it was not good that Batman was using a gun? You kumquats came at me with, oh, Chris, that's not a gun, it's a grenade launcher, and Batman uses lethal weapons all the time, so it's fine. Maybe that's true, but has he ever used those kind of lethal weapons to this degree? This movie is so bleak and dour and miserable. The opening scene of this movie has a named character in the Superman universe get killed execution style because Zack Snyder said, and I quote, it would be fun to do something with that character, and he didn't fit into our universe that we have, so we did that. He executed a named character because he thought it would be fun. Fuck Zack Snyder. Piece of shit. Fret not, though, once that beloved character gets killed off unceremoniously and never mentioned again, Superman comes in and saves the day by murdering his murderer back. I think Batman v Superman is really just a contest to see which one of them could rack up the higher kill count. It's completely ridiculous to think this out loud. Batman kills people. Superman kills people. The only person in this movie who doesn't kill people is Lex Luthor. But fuck that, though, because he sucks too. I like Jesse Eisenberg, but he is just, God, awful in this movie. Just terrible. What is he doing? You know, there's a reason why most of my shows are me just drinking like a fish and telling stupid nitpicky jokes and not waxing philosophic. And the reason for that is because it's not my area of expertise, nor is it Lex Luthor's. In this movie, he comes across like a babbling lunatic, and that would be fine, but he's being billed as a menacing intellectual. There's so much more. I haven't even gone into the terrible editing or the asinine dialogue. There is literally a scene when Doomsday appears. Jesse Eisenberg points to Doomsday and he says, "This is your Doomsday." And I wanted to vomit. There was a point of this movie, I don't even remember which point now, and this certainly isn't helping, where I saw it in 3D, which was a fucking fabulous idea, where I took off my 3D glasses and I was just going like this, because I couldn't believe how stupid this movie was. There's so much more, but I'm just done. I'm done. I'm so done with these movies. Interest could not be lower. I'm so uninvested. I'm not. The movie did a terrible job setting up the Justice League, which was the only reason it was created in the first place. I'm done talking about these movies. If you want to have like a legitimate dialogue about this movie, then maybe I'll consider it. But in terms of this and Batman vs Superman, I'm done. You know, that actually brings me to the worst thing about this movie, and as much as I'm sure Snortles the Wonder Clown would love to take credit for it as being part of his grand vision, I don't think it could be attributed to him at all. It's what I hate the most about this movie is that it's stifled debate. Because these movies aren't even fun to talk about anymore. You know, nobody wants to talk about them at all because if you look at how people have reacted to it on different social medias, that like the people who do like it are saying that the people who don't like it just, you know, they're just hating on Batman and Superman, they're hating on the DC universe, they're just Marvel fanboys, or you know, people who are attacking comic book movies and they don't like them at all. And then the people who don't like it are looking at the people who do and are saying, wow, look at this ignorant bunch of fucking sheep, as they shove popcorn into their face. Like, nobody wants to have dialogue anymore. Nobody wants to talk about the merits or the demerits of the movie. There's like the product in front of them doesn't matter. It's just an opportunity for them to get on their Twitter soapbox, post 140 meaningless characters, and then go on with their lives as if they never saw a movie in the first place. And you know what? I think that's what makes me the most tired, ladies and gentlemen. Because as depressing and as bleak and miserable and dour and just unpleasant as Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice was, the more depressing thing is that it isn't even worth talking about. Cheers, folks.